everybody, and welcome back to Celebrity with Me. So I'm Nene, and then today I have Reese and Johnny here with me. Right? So we're going to be doing a recap of the Real Housewives of Potomac, the reunion part 2. Okay. So I just want to give a disclaimer for everybody. On this show, we will be giving a recap as well as giving commentary. So our commentary is our own opinions, and anything alleged is allegedly. Okay. All right, so if that sounds like something you're interested in, keep on watching, okay? So the episode starts off, Candace is talking to Andy, and she says that she's coming in peace and she is no longer a on Twitter. So they go back out to the stage where they show all the ladies there, and Karen says that her and Giselle, when they throw shade back and forth, they don't cut to the bone. Okay, and so I think it was an audience question that caused Candace to start talking about the things that she had said about Mia's feet. Candace defends herself, and she reminds the ladies that they have cut to the bone moments. For example, she says how Giselle wore the T-shirt talking about Candace that one episode, and that Karen calling Giselle a broke down hoe from Hampton Youth was her cutting down to the bone. Candace says the ladies have a long history, has a long history of being mean. So Ashley says that she further gives examples and says that Ashley said that Sharice, who was a lady that was on previous seasons, has sagging boobs, and Wendy was used. Right. Okay. So Candace asks, should she not stick her landings to spare someone's feelings or the other lady's feelings? And then Karen says to her, if she continues, she may not have to spare anyone's feelings because they may tune her out. And so, Candace continues to defend herself. Giselle says to Candace that she herself has never been in an altercation, as she's been on the show for 6 years. And Candace tells her, reminds her that she walked Robin into Ashley's restaurant to confront Ashley. So Robin pipes in and she says that, when she went to the restaurant, actually Giselle said she didn't know what Robin was going to do. It wasn't like she walked her there to start a fight. And so Robin said she saw red when she saw Ashley. And what I found funny is nobody said anything about Robin saying that. When last year, when Monique said she saw red, it was a big uproar. So let's talk about those scenes right there. It's a lot packed into there. What were you guys' thoughts?
Well, the difference between Monique and Robin is Robin didn't bang Ashley's head on the table. So she got close to being physical, but I don't recall her ever actually fighting Ashley.
No, she didn't. She didn't fight Ashley. She put up at Ashley's job, acting up and putting her fingers all in her face and yelling at her.
So that's the difference as to why people were all in an uproar with the whole thing with Monique and not her. At the end of the day, Candace is who she is. She's just gonna talk mad shit, and you gotta dig in deep with her or take it and be done with it. Or I guess in popular opinion of everyone else, beat her ass. I don't know what else to say about her and her words and how she says things.
She froze. Oh, okay, yeah, froze for a second. All right, Reese, what were your thoughts on those scenes or those parts?
I don't think. I mean, I kind of agree. I think they all done said mean stuff. So I can see where Candace is coming from, but I don't think she's gonna own up to the fact that she takes it just a little bit too far, because she pushes people to want to fight her more so than everybody else has done. I think they all done said some stuff that to me could potentially have been fight worthy, but she's just done it, I guess, more often. And she does it with people who Well, I'm gonna say with people who fight her because only one person I assume, because I haven't seen all the seasons. But it just seems like hers just drags long, like because it seems like just for me coming in this season, the only person that had long term fighting was Karen and Giselle. Outside of that, it just seemed like she's just dragging beef after beef after beef, and it's like multiple people. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like I do agree that she's definitely she talks a lot of junk, and um, I think if somebody fights her, she is gonna be the first one to like call foul or whatever. But she does talk a lot of junk, and I mean, if you don't really want to get into it with her, then don't say nothing to her. Like she kind of says later on, like if you leave me alone, I won't say nothing. But I feel like Ashley is just as almost as messy as
Oh yeah,
Candace.
absolutely. Ashley
So
is just as bad. She is.
so when she says like, "Oh, you said this about me, you said that," well, they showed clips where she body shamed too, and I got it. Like she did it, whatever the reason, but it was after her baby. So yeah, Candace didn't have to say why body, but like I said when she made that comment, I feel like Candace goes after what she knows is gonna hurt your feelings, and that's it. And that's human nature, in my opinion. If I want to argue with you and I want to hurt your feelings, then I'm gonna say what's gonna hurt your feelings. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not that type of person. Like for me to say something to hurt your feelings, you got to really hurt mine. I feel like for me to just go extremely low on purpose. Um, Outside of that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I can totally understand what she was saying, especially when she was throwing back examples. But I feel like there are certain things that she has done or that she
Mhm.
did first, she didn't bring up. And I'm like, okay, if you're gonna throw out everybody else's mess, Candace, you need to throw out things that you did too. You know. So that was the only thing. And I mean, some of the stuff that they were saying, um, just like y'all, everybody knows Karen is my favorite, but Karen was wrong for saying to Giselle that she had a hot box, basically saying the girl had an STD on TV. I don't agree with that. And so, I understand her trying to call out the other ladies, but she did some things that she's not saying that she did first that were awesome. I mean, that was my only problem with the situation. I could have completely had her, but the way things were looking, it looks like the ladies are about to turn on Candace if she doesn't adjust her attitude. Let me say it like that. If she doesn't get an attitude adjustment, they, because it already kind of looked like to me on that stage, like they were turning
Yeah.
on her already. Like there won't be anybody, around if you keep on.
Yeah.
Um,
Like
But I
Robin and Wendy, her only allies right now.
yeah, but I think her okay, so calling someone a hoe, implying
mhm,
that they have an STD
mhm.
isn't to me as deep as talking about my mother who has drug issues.
Yeah, that
You know
it's
what I'm saying?
nowhere.
And
Yeah,
that's
it's
what
nowhere
she
near it.
does.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what
nowhere
Candace
near.
does. She
Yeah,
knows
it
like
goes
your
too far.
personal life and she
Yeah,
digs it at you. Like that's the difference.
yeah.
Surface, like superficial type jokes, making fun of, blah blah blah. Okay, but hers are not superficial.
No, they're not
They're
at all.
deep. Like if I
I,
know you have body image issues and I constantly point out that you have big feet and you have this and you have a big ass forehead and you have blah 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 blah, that's totally different than just saying, you know, oh your outfit sucks. It's
right.
just her digs are different and I don't I mean I don't know. I never watched where her and Monique were close or all the stuff that she had said to Monique for Monique to give her that reaction that she gave her last season. But hearing what she said already this season with Mia and her mother, and still telling her she's going to still talk about her mom,
Yeah,
regardless if he keeps
yeah.
coming
They
at her.
show a clip of her doing it. Yeah,
Yeah, I can understand at that point how someone can get physical. but was superficial. You know,
Yeah.
whatever.
I wouldn't call it saying somebody got an STD is superficial. Your outfit is ugly is superficial, but saying you got an STD, people can take that and run with it and start more rumors about you. And I don't think that's a cool one to say either. Like,
I think it's actually taboo now because who hasn't
mm-mm.
had an STD?
But I'm saying, but if you come at me and say you got a like blah blah, you got an STD, or you know what I mean, like it's
I
to me
I
it ain't
get what you're
superficial.
saying, but I don't
Mhm.
think this generation sees it as deeply or bad as we do. I think in a way it's kind of a I don't know. It's just they don't see it that way anymore. I don't mean obviously if you knew what kind of STD you had and you're throwing it in your face like that, I think that's a little bit more deeper than just generic saying or implying because you slept with so many people you've had one. So
And I mean, and everybody's points are different. Um, if somebody, and then I also think it depends upon how you say it or whatever. Let's say I just met a guy and I take him around Johnny, and then me and her end up squaring off, and she's like, "That's why you got a hot box." You were like, "Oh, you got a hot box." I don't think it would bother me as bad. I'm like, "Whatever, girl, you got the hot box." So, so I think it's just all in the way that you say it. And I could understand where Karen and Giselle were coming from at the same time. Like they have known each other for a long time, so their banter isn't stinging in the same way that somebody else says it. Like you may have friends that you're like, "What's up, bitch?" But let somebody else come up to you like, "What's up, bitch?" You gonna be mad and ready to fight. So, I mean, I think that's the biggest difference. Like those two have a history. So, did I like that she said that to her? I was like, no, I could kind of see the point that Candace was kind of making, but I was like, but Candace, you're still not owning up to everything you've done. Because when she brought up the whole STD thing, I'm like, but Candace, I think it was on the last reunion, she told Ashley, she was talking about Michael, was talking about, girl, you over there itching, you need to go get a test. So that's you saying that Ashley had an STD. So that's what, but you need to also own up to things that you said and you did too, as well.
that would it would be like the generic, okay? So like Karen said, that's why you've got the hot box and the whatever. But see, the way Candace would have done it would have been like she knew
My
what
first is, oh,
STD you had. She would say, that's why you got herpes and that's why you're flaring up right there on your cheekbone and like her digs are like a personal attack. It's not generic. And I think if she
yeah,
turned it more into generic and maybe not so well, first of all, she just needs to grow up because she
yeah,
gets
she has
mad at
very
some of
experience.
the basic things. And
Mm-hmm.
the fact that she can forgive one person and not the other. So she can forgive Karen for not supporting her at all because Karen never had her back last year. She did stay neutral in Switzerland, but she was there all the time for Monique. And she did
I,
invite Monique
yeah,
around a lot.
well,
But
the
she
thing
can forgive Karen, but she can't forgive Ashley because Ashley gave a character statement just saying that she knows Monique to be a good person. It had nothing to do with Candace. It's not like she went in there and said Candace is this, that, and the other. She was
Well,
just saying,
supposedly she brought up the knife throwing incident, which you did it, and you were
right,
wrong for that. You shouldn't be throwing. I don't care if it's a butter knife. You shouldn't have thrown it at that girl. You shouldn't have been
no.
doing those things.
And like I said, it's surprising that she's even still on the show considering she did that.
So,
Yeah, it
and
was
my
a butter knife, but it was still a violence.
right, right, like you just don't do that. Um, then there was and then I think her beef with Ashley is more so also that not only did Ashley write that statement, but she's still friends with Monique. Now, if Ashley was one of your best friends and she wanted to go hang out with your arch enemy, I could see you being fine. And now you want to police with her friends? You can't do that.
But again, that doesn't make sense because even Monique is still friends with Karen.
Right.
So she can't pick and choose how you can forgive some people and not others.
Right.
But she said it was because of the statement is why she really Like she had a problem with Karen because of it, but she doesn't like Ashley because of the statement.
All right. So I guess I'll get to the episode. So we go back and okay. So Andy speaks to Mia about her tweet, right? So Mia has been attacked on the attack mode. She's been talking about the other ladies' husbands.
Mm-mm.
She's talked a lot about she doesn't really do anything to anybody. Heck, we barely know Escala is there for her to be doing these attacks upon. But Mia blames the ugly tweets on her social media manager. What did y'all think about that cop out? That was the biggest cop out I've heard in all my life.
Well, I don't know that. I think she does some. I think maybe she doesn't remember. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not on Twitter. I don't know how that works.
But
Therefore, I can't really give an opinion on it. But if you have someone who works for you, who
Mm-hmm.
probably takes the digs that you take personally or more to heart, then they would be quick to say something and maybe, and she trusts them. Therefore, she's not really paying attention to what they're saying or doing. But I did think that was funny when she was sitting there reading the tweets and she was like, "Oh yeah, I did that one." I
It's
thought
just
that was
crazy
funny.
because when you get a social media manager, that is you entrusting somebody to portray you and be a good brand ambassador for you. So why are you not watching what that person says? Why are you doing this? And then your brand ambassador got up at 7 in the morning because they showed one of the mean tweets. She did it at 7 a.m. So your brand ambassador woke up at 7 a.m. Oh, I'm gonna go insult a scholar. Like it's just one of them things like, okay, Mia, stop it. Now you can't play with our intelligence. Yes, we are viewers, but we're not all that crazy. Like, why would your brand ambassador wake up the first thing in the morning is to pick on a scholar?
Well, we're
I don't
assuming
know,
she was
but
asleep and woke up doing that. She may have been up since 5 o'clock that morning. We don't
yeah, but
necessarily know her wake up schedule. So I don't know. I mean, somebody who's busy like that,
better to
there's
do
no
it seven
telling
in
what
the
time
morning.
they're actually up.
So
I
I
don't think
think it's
she
a bit
personally
much.
woke up and decided to
yeah,
make
it
a
was.
tweet.
Yeah, I agree with you, Reese. It was just a bit much. And
Right.
then so Candace asked Mia, so did your manager block me or did you block me? And then Mia's like, oh, are you blocked? Now, granted, her social media manager could have done that. I would have been like, okay, you did right by blocking her. Now calm down with the other tweets because you're making me look bad. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that's what you're doing. And so Ascala, she brings out printouts of Mia's tweets. Mia grabs the paper with the tweets and
Mm, that's not good.
They're getting longer and longer.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
Let me see if I can.
when that happens, well,
Hmm?
never mind. I was gonna say when that happens, should we like continue or wait for her to come back on?
You got to
said,
start over because they went away.
okay, so did y'all hear where I said that Ascala brought out the printouts
Mm-hmm.
of the tweet? Okay. All righty. So I don't know how you felt, but right after that, Ascala got up and left. And I'm like, what? Leave Ascala here. She ain't bothering anybody. let's get to know Ascala. We never got an intro package for Ascala. So let her sit on the stage so we can get to know this girl, you know? But she They escorted her out. And Mia made a little sly comment like, y'all brought her out here for 2 minutes, 2 sentences or something. I was like, Mia, stop being petty. Just stop. I used to like Mia, but you're gonna put yourself on my bad side where I don't like you anymore. You keep on, girl. All right. So then Mia, she throws, I felt like the ultimate shade. She says, I'm not giving any of these girls any the time of day anymore or whatever. I'm like, okay, so you're just saying now, oh, whatever to them? Like that's kind of messed up. You were new on there. I will digress. All right, so they take a break and we see Wendy, she goes into Candace's room and she tells her, oh, I'm just checking on you. And she also tells Candace that she will always have her back. And then, so her and Candace are having a little small talk, and Candace tells her that she could have gone to the gutter with Mia. And so Wendy says something, that I felt like was the right thing for her to say to her friend, who has been a little out of control. Wendy says to her, "Your gutter is everyone else's hell." I totally feel that. I totally feel. And so I'll go back into the recording studio or whatever. And Andy asks Karen about the hotbox comment. Um, and they all say that it was on a blog. Andy asks Karen, does she not? Okay, is she not going to apologize for calling Giselle a broco? And then so Giselle says she apologizes to Hampton University, but she's not going to apologize to Giselle for what she said because that was the word on the street. So, all right, so let's stop there. So, what did y'all think of those scenes, and then like the interaction with Wendy and Candace? Because now they're as tight as thieves now.
Well, I think they've always kind of been.
I think they have
Because
always
you
been,
never
but
see
they
them
weren't this
really going
tight.
at each other for real.
But we've never seen them. We haven't seen them interacting alone this season. Last season they did, but not this season.
Yeah, and I think you don't really see them having too many disagreements. They both kind of mediate the situations, but they don't really go against each other. Like
Mm-hmm.
too bad, not like how they do with other people. Um, that was a lot. I think I didn't get to say my piece about the social media. I don't think that social media thing. I don't think that's all her manager. And if it is, and friend or not, she needs to be fired because
Yeah.
um, that's what I mean. Like it's pettiness and it's like a bunch of drama that you just putting on social media. And I'm like, Nene, if you're gonna hire somebody, you hire them to clean up your reputation or to make you look better because you're that mean person and you don't really know how to respond, so you let them do it. But if they're gonna respond just like you might as well respond. So that's why I'm like, it's dumb. So then when she was like, oh, I just won't even entertain these girls or whatever, I'm like, okay, she being like, still being petty. But I'm starting to notice that's kind of how she is. She started a lot of junk, and then I don't know. So she she kind of mean. She's kind of mean. So in a sense, like I can't even be mad at Candace for still going at her. And if you can't hurt her feelings, how's he gonna get her other than her mom? Um, don't bring something that personal on if it's gonna affect your mom. And then two, if you got this tough skin and can handle saying all that stuff about everybody else, then you got to be able to handle whatever come to you too. That's how I see that. Um, I feel like Wendy tried to kind of say like, "Hey, you okay? You good? Not that with her." And then she did kind of say like, "Yeah, I'm just that's what I am. I'm mean." So I mean, I guess she does own it. She just don't. She's still just tit for tat, I guess. So it's like she owns that she's mean and that she's gonna say whatever she want to say. But when you call her out on it in
She
names,
does own it.
saying,
Yeah.
she got to find a reason why she had to say it's about you because it is. But I don't know that every time it's necessarily um, her starting it. Like for instance, that time where she was going off on Ashley trying to get her milk and get out and all that. That time, actually, I don't disagree with Candace on that one because it did look like Ashley came and started that big giant fight. Whether it was intentional or innocent, it's still you weren't even invited, and here they are fighting on a trip that you weren't invited to, and you sitting in the middle of it. So I can understand some of the times that she just snapping, but some of the times I think she just take the name calling too far. Um, she's immature. We see that by her even the fact that she said your mama and she's what in her 30s. It's a bit much anyways because that's some stuff we did in school and high school and then elementary, middle school and all that. But um, I still think I still stand by the fact that when she said your mama low budget, I think it was just another jab. It wasn't meant as deep as it is when she says it now, like on the reunion. Because after hearing the story, I do feel like she kind of understood the depth of what Mia's mom had went through. But at the same time, if she don't like Mia, you can't expect her to be like, "Oh, but I'll respect your mom." Like, nah, Candace is cutthroat, man. She gonna go where it hurt. If she call a
I,
pregnant girl,
I, I strongly
a
believe that.
pregnant
And if
person,
she feels
God,
like, yeah, and if she feels like your child is ugly, she would say it to you. I feel like if
yeah,
you have a handicapped person in your family, she would
yeah,
make fun of them.
yeah.
Like she doesn't understand that there's just a level that you just kind of.
There's a level, but I mean, if she's made it clear, if she don't like you, she gonna say what's gonna hurt. And like I said, the girl just had a baby, and you call her wide body. To me, that's immature too because she just had a baby. Now, if it's been some years, okay, but she just had the baby. Like she looked good for just having that baby. But you know, and maybe it is some hurt because maybe she wants a kid. I don't know. I don't know if she wants a kid, but maybe it is something to it. But I think she does just go where she knows it's gonna hurt your feelings. Like there's things that I wouldn't tell somebody like that, or I would try my best to hide and not show it. And I think Mia has done that, but then there was that vulnerability of the mom. Now that she's got it, she gonna run with that every chance she get.
Very true. What are your thoughts, Johnny?
Um, hmm, I think y'all said it all.
Alrighty. Okay, so we go back to Andy. He's still asking questions, and he's actually asking questions that people submitted like online to him. And so Andy says that there's an audience question that if Wendy thinks it's hypocritical that Giselle wants an apology from Karen when she spread rumors about Eddie. So Giselle accuses Wendy of looking at Grace cockeyed. So Wendy apologizes but says she wants an apology for her children also. She's like, if I did something that hurt your daughter, I apologize. But I also want an apology for my children as well. Okay. And so I'm sorry guys, I lost my place. And then there was a question about Karen lying. And they said that Karen lied about Sing Sing. So why should people trust Karen what Karen says? So Karen says that she said Sing Sing um, because it sounded good to her. And then here comes Robin chiming in, and she says that Karen called Giselle a drug addict, an alcoholic, was talking about her neck and her legs. And Karen admits to saying it. She was like, I said those things. So Giselle says when Karen brought a gift to her house when she had the reasonably shady party, that it touched her. And the fact that Karen hugged her girls also touched her. So Giselle, she begins to tear up. And Andy says that he wants to see the ladies hug. So Giselle and Karen, they get up and they hug. And then I guess Giselle was throwing a little comic relief in it. So she starts thrusting her hips on Karen. Right. Okay. So then they bring up Ashley's postpartum and the placenta. Which Ashley's eating that placenta. I really wasn't happy hearing this stuff. Okay. And so anyway, so they bring up Ashley's postpartum and the placenta. Andy asks, does Michael want to be a movie? Why does Michael want to be a movie producer? So Ashley says that Michael has been in the real estate business for like 40 years, so he wants to try something new, which is understandable. But Wendy throws some shade and is like, does he want to make porn? Ashley doesn't answer. And so Andy asks again, but I don't know if you guys noticed, Ashley never really answered whether or not that's what Michael was wanting to do. Um,
She
Andy
was
also
trying to
asked,
see or something.
yeah, something like that. And so Andy asks about their sex life. So Ashley says she is back to her old self. So then Giselle asks if they're bringing in ladies now, since she's
Oh,
back.
that's what she said. I heard the ladies, and I'm like, wait, I'm lost. Oh, that's just it. Are
Yeah.
they bringing it? Like, okay.
And so Ashley says she's not saying no. Maybe that's why they're back in their sexual habits because now she's giving Michael what he wants sexually again. But she had said she didn't want to do that anymore with him.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's probably why their sex life has revved back up because now she's the girl that he married again. Alrighty. And so Andy asks Candace, Andy asks Candace, why did she relish in insulting Ashley's postpartum body? And so Giselle says that she was offended by the comment. I think it's hard for any woman who's had a baby to hear somebody say that to another woman. Um, because after you have a baby, you're already insecure about your body because your body is not where it was before you had the baby. You're still healing, you're still swollen. So but then you have other stuff going on with your body, your boobies are leaking and stuff. So it's just not the right time to be picking on somebody's body. That's what I feel. All right. And so Giselle says that she was offended by the comment, and Robin chimes in that Candace knows where to jab and to make it hurt, which is very, very, very true. And so they bring up Michael's statements about Ashley's body and if it was body shaming. So Ashley says, she threw out some shade. It wasn't necessary, but I was like, why are you picking a fight? You know how this gonna go. She tells Candace that her bob needs to stop weaving so that she can answer her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, girl, just sometimes they do stuff that I just don't understand. Okay. And then she says that she doesn't feel like Michael was being derogatory. Okay. So then the question comes up that is Candace jealous of Ashley being a mom? Then we see Candace's face like go into a crying position and she starts fake crying. It was very realistic, but she's an actress too or whatever. And I'm like, I wonder how many times have we been fooled by this? All right. So tell me, what were your guys' thoughts there? What were some things that stuck out to you?
It's a lot. I'm trying to go back to where we like first started again. You wanna go first, Johnny?
Uh, well, I guess with the side eyeing Grace, and they did kind of show the camera looking at Wendy, and Wendy was looking her up and down, which I was like, why are you looking at her like that? So I could definitely see where that's a problem. I don't believe Wendy was around her kids like that. Um, Wendy's attitude towards her mother, I do feel reflected to her daughter, and her daughter has nothing to do with their beef. So if she really does apologize to Grace, then good for her for being an adult because Grace had nothing to do with what Giselle said. Um, and I would be hot if I saw somebody looking at my child like that. I don't care if my child's an adult, teenager, what. My child has nothing to do with us. So keep her out of it and you be respectful to my kid. My kid wasn't disrespectful to you. So I could see why people thought she was side eyeing her. Uh, I did think that was cool. That does kind of show because I do believe after the shady room or shady whatever, the shady show, the shady group
Reasonable
or whatever
Shady.
it was, yeah, the banquet, whatever it was, party, that I do think Karen and Giselle's relationship did change more. They were sitting together more. They were talking more, and Giselle was teaching her all the sexual terms that she didn't understand or she claimed she didn't understand. Um, so I thought that was pretty cool. That's why she felt more uh, forgiving or whatever to move forward with their relationship because of how Karen treated her kids. Because, like she said, Karen's been there since they've grown up, since growing up. So, all the stuff that Giselle and Karen went through to come back to the house and see her kids, she acted as if she's still been there. And they gave her hugs and they talked and she checked to see how they were doing. So I see why she was very moved by that. Um, as far as the comment with when
The
you
body
first
shaming.
heard him say it, yeah, when you first heard him
Oh,
say it, I was kind of taken aback. But when she explained it, I see why he said what he said. And we have to also remember editing because, like she said, he knew where she was trying to be, where she was trying to go. She had been working out. So when he said what he said, maybe he could have said it differently. Who knows? Who cares? As long as she didn't take it personally, I don't see why anybody else is worried about it. He was complimenting her that she was getting back to what she looked like before because of her working out, because that's what she wanted to hear. So I thought that was cool.
yeah. Like I didn't find fault in what you say Michael said, especially like you said, once she explained it, like, they work out together and he knows where she's trying to get to or whatever. So I think I don't want it to sound negative or anything, but couples that tend to like work out together and be on a fitness journey together, a lot of times certain things they may say may come off as mean. Like, if she's eating something she really shouldn't be, he's probably going to try to tell her not to do that. But couples that are on that journey together tend to do stuff like that. They hold each other accountable. That's what I'm trying to say. So
Yeah.
maybe, I think more of it was maybe a little bit more like that. And then, you know, he just, like you said, Johnny, he could have said worded it a little bit differently, perhaps. Because when they were in the car, I did feel like he was being a little tough on her. But once I saw this scene and saw her explain it, then I understood it more.
Yeah.
I was like, okay,
And then
I'll
the
give him
other
that. Now, what?
yeah. And then the other thing about the porn, okay, so what if you want to get into porn? It's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Yeah,
Why not tap into it if you can? Who
I think
cares?
it was
I'm
supposed to
just
be
kind of
shade.
tired
That's
of
all.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know that him and his wife are open sexually to do things that most people aren't. Let them have that and be done with it. I don't know why it always has to be this jab, jab, jab. And of course, he's attracted to certain men. They've still never proven that he's done anything with any men sexually outside of grabbing a butt here and there. And who knows if he was drunk when he did it? I don't know.
But see,
But
that's my other issue with this show and some of the other housewives. They'll throw things out there like it's not any of our places to out anybody as gay. It's not our place, and you shouldn't be doing that. Let if Michael is gay or bisexual, allow him to be the one to come and bring it. That's just my feeling on it.
yeah, and they keep saying that he's not. She said he's not. He said he's not. He just is attracted to certain people, but it is what it is. So,
Shoot, the way people are nowadays, everybody gender, no genders, no types, no nothing. Like you
yeah,
just
like,
love.
Lord, okay, so that's pansexual because a pansexual means that you can love anybody. Like you can love a transsexual. I'm trying to make sure I say this correctly because Lord have mercy. You can love anyone. So you love anybody. That's what a pansexual is.
Maybe
But
that's
then
what
I
Michael
just
is.
found out what a queer was. Now remember when we were younger, we couldn't say queer,
Mm-mm.
right?
Yeah, that was a
That was
bad word.
like defamatory. But now they've turned queer into, I guess you can be what you want, but you're not trans. So, like, I can dress so like a man.
Oh,
I think
gotcha.
that's the best way to do it for me because women, we can easily get away with dressing like boys or whatever. But a man can wear like girl clothes or skirts or, you know, dresses, but still want to be with a woman and they identify as themselves as queer,
Hmm.
but they're not pansexual because they recognize either you're a woman or you're a man, as opposed to a pansexual can be with transsexuals.
Hmm.
So I'm just learning all this stuff. I'm trying to stay up to date, Lord. I have a
I
kid in
can't keep up
elementary. I
with it.
gotta know what these terms are.
Look, I can't keep up with it. It's too many now. I'm
It's
like,
a
just
lot.
gay, straight, bisexual. Let's just do that. Transgender.
That's
Let's
what it
just do
used to
that.
be, but it
Now
ain't there
people
anymore.
asexual. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't.
But
I
I
can't
learned
keep
the
up.
queer thing today because I finished watching what's the name of that show? Grownish.
Mhm.
And one of the characters is gonna start dating a queer guy. And he's open to being with men and women, but he dresses as a woman without the makeup. Almost
Okay.
like Jaden.
Mm. Okay.
You know how Jaden kind of wears those long skirts or
Yeah, the
dresses
skirt.
type
Mhm.
things, but he doesn't wear makeup and he doesn't make himself look feminine, I guess. It's just clothes. I guess that's the way they see it. So if they
Yeah.
want to wear a tutu, they can wear a tutu. And
Your prerogative.
hey, that's their
Yeah,
prerogative.
prerogative. Yeah. Like I said, and
But
I just don't feel like it's up to us to out them or to try to shame somebody for what they're doing. Like Ashley has already let us know that they have basically open marriage. Okay, so what's the point in shaming her? She's already owned up to it. It's not like you found out something on this blog and now you're bringing it over here to her. Like, no, she's already openly admitted it. Why? What is the infatuation with their sex life? I don't.
Right.
I guess it's the same as all of them. Infatuation with each other's business. That like once it's out there, okay, drop it, let it go. But
I get that,
Yeah,
but
but
my
see,
sex
that's the
life is
thing. Hers
my
is
sex
out
life.
there. Yeah,
Yeah, but
it's out
that's just
there.
the way I
She's
feel about
not ashamed of it. She's not lying about it. She's not hiding it. It is what it is. I guess there was a
it.
point because when she said she was feeling more like herself before she had children,
Hmm.
I
That was
figured
her way. I
that's
felt like,
probably what she meant.
yeah,
She was back to being open with being with other women and all that kind of stuff. So to each is their own.
yeah. Hey, so what did you think, Reese? What are your thoughts?
going back to um so okay, that apology from Wendy. I didn't feel about Grace. I didn't think that was sincere at all. I felt like she was just saying that so that because she knows, okay, you're right. I'll apologize to Grace, but when you see my kids apologize to them, it was a tit for tat. I didn't find that sincere at all. Like, um, just apologize for what you said,
But I
and
can
then
get it because she knows it's Giselle will hold that over her head and she'll never apologize to her kids. So I totally get why she did that. And I can respect that because she does want an apology and she deserves an apology for her kids.
but her kids hasn't even seen it yet. I'm sure.
But we don't, but they're old enough to read. That's what the point that Wendy was making is
Hmm.
that my kids are old enough to read and to see
Hmm.
basically on TV. They can go on to YouTube and YouTube the episode.
Yeah, I still don't think it was sincere. So I feel like if you're gonna apologize to Grace, and then hopefully she will apologize to her kids. And then to me, if you want to hold over her head later, like, hey, I apologize to Grace about that. You can't bring that up. You didn't apologize to my kids for what you said. I feel like at that point, but by bringing that up, saying, okay, I apologize. Okay, I apologize to Grace. But when you see my boys apologize to them, to me, it discredited that
But I
apology.
can't. For me, I felt like what she did was okay because she was being the bigger person. She's like, you know what? Well, I will apologize if I hurt your child. I will apologize. Which that wasn't what Giselle offered her.
So when Karen did it, I believed it. When she did it, I did not believe it.
Me.
It didn't seem it didn't because Karen also didn't hold up a reason like now go apologize to my kids that you hurt when they were younger. Like she said, if I hurt your kids, I honestly that was not my intention, and I apologize. I don't even think because she said she never made the face. So all she did was say, okay, well, if she's saying, I said, if she's saying it, whatever. Okay. But when you see my boys, apologize to them too. It's like, you just want an apology for your kids, but you weren't, if the
But her
girl's
kids
saying,
deserve the
yeah,
apology.
but I mean, I'm saying
I
they
mean,
might deserve it, but to me, it discredited because she's telling her, like her daughter, friends was telling her, and she's telling her, "Hey, this actually happened." Like she don't even know what the boys know or not. But what she's telling her is, my daughter actually came to me saying this, and her friends was calling her like, "Hey, why she look at you like that? Why was this and that?" So it was a real problem, whereas hers is a possible problem,
Right.
future problem. So to me, to say it in that manner, discredited. Like like I said, when Karen said it, she was like, "You know what? If it hurt your children, I I did not mean to do that. That's sincere." So to me, it's like if I was her daughter, I'd be like, she didn't even mean it. And then to me, to her friends, they probably like, she didn't mean that. That's just how I see it. I wouldn't have took it serious if I was her daughter. And her daughter's what, senior in high school, so I'm sure she's smart enough to see through that. But and then what came after that? What was right after that?
um, oh, Giselle and Karen and Giselle tearing up.
Oh, okay. And so that another sincere moment because first of all, Giselle don't cry, at least from
Mhm.
what I've seen. So, and I feel like it's cute, like the fact that they two have been like the biggest beefers that entire episode or this entire season, and they were able to come together like they have. And they say, "Hey, we still gonna talk junk about each other, and that's cool because this is what y'all do. Because y'all don't 100% get along. You don't agree with everything each other says, and y'all have a relationship where y'all can do that. And neither one of both of them at least have enough sense to an extent, to not take it too serious. And I believe they're able to do it now that they've actually said what the problem really was behind the comments, and then and actually seeing the scenes too, and seeing like, okay, some stuff may have been misconstrued or whatever. But I like that, and I like that Karen did do that because I didn't even notice that she did that until they went back and showed it, and I was like, that actually is pretty cool because she could have, like y'all said, she could have took, or like she said, she could have just ignored the kids, and she's been in the kids' lives longer than any of them. So that part was cool. And then as far as the, I think the next thing I remember is the comments with Mike, with Michael. Oh, the baby coming. I think I already said something about that. Like I think Candace is a little bit jealous of it because it seems like she do make a lot of baby jabs, and I know it's because she knows Ashley loves them babies.
Hmm.
So that's how you hurt her. But being that she's the only one without a kid, um, there could be a little bit of jealousy there. I don't know. I don't know if she don't want kids or what the deal is, but there could be something there. I don't know. Maybe not, but I could be reaching with that. But um, but I know that's just how she gonna attack Ashley. She gonna talk about her forehead and then wait, I don't think that came up yet. Never mind. Disregard. She probably didn't bring it up.
Oh, what about when, I mean, not Ashley, Candace was pretending like she was going to cry?
Um, well, it looked like a fake cry to me when she did it. Like it just looked fake because she was like, like it was extra exaggerated. And when Candace cried, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. So we know her moods when she gonna cry. Like for her to been that exaggerated right off the bat, because usually her cries start off with her choking, and then you know. So yeah, that to me it was like an obvious little, oh yeah, I'm so jealous. But a part of me still do believe she is. That's why after she did that, I'm like, I ain't buying it. I think she is a little bit, and that's why she have a real comeback for that. And then the last part about Michael, I agree. After seeing it, I do believe that he might not have been meaning in a harmful way because they work out and all that stuff. But Bravo is wrong because after he made the comment, I don't think they showed it in that clip. She was looking like, hmm? She looked at him like, really? That's what you're gonna say when I ask for a compliment, and you're gonna say, or she asked him something, are you attracted to me or something? He said, your body's starting to slim up real good, or you losing a lot of weight, or something like that. And she
I
was
like
like,
that. That pleases me, or something you said. Yeah.
yeah. So it was like a part of me is wondering, is that what it really was because of that, or was that bad editing or creative editing on their part?
I mean, it
Because
could
Creative
have went either
editing.
way, or once they got home, maybe she addressed how she felt about it, and then
mhm,
he just explained to her. That's a possibility.
yeah, because she's
I
like
think, like you
her
said,
feelings was a
creative
little hurt.
editing.
So I wonder what made her feelings look like that. Like what made her face look like that. What comment was left out that we didn't hear that made her look like that? Then because she
Yeah.
looked like shocked on something he said too. Like really, like uncomfortable. So if it wasn't for that, then hey, kudos to them for starting drama with the whole world because I'm with everybody on that stage was like, nah, that wasn't cool. As well as everybody watching was like, that ain't cool. You know what I mean? She's the only one who didn't because she knows their relationship. But from
Yeah.
outside looking in, that mess looked trifling. So good job, Bravo, for like pulling the wig over our eyes.
Alrighty. So next we have Candace and Ashley. They're still going back and forth. So Candace says she is a black woman, and Ashley has made comments about her hair being dry. Ashley says, um, Ashley, you could tell Ashley got aggravated because Candace was trying to go there with the whole colorism thing. And so Ashley says that they need to address the colorism comments now, right? And so Wendy goes on to ask Ashley, does she believe colorism exists? Ashley says, yes, she does. Wendy asks, does she believe it exists in their group? Ashley says, no. And then all of a sudden, I don't know if y'all caught this, Ashley kind of started talking black. Did y'all hear that? When her and Candace were going back and forth about Candace saying that she was trying to make her a part of her storyline, and she's like, "Well, I've been on this couch, and I'm going to be on this couch once you're gone," or something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
she all of a
She
sudden
said,
had
I've
this,
been making money.
yeah,
I've been getting that
yeah. So
check.
all of a sudden that popped up, um, and then they also go back and forth about whether Candace called Michael a slave driver or not. I mean, she said it. I guess she has forgotten that she said it, but she definitely said it. Um,
Well,
well,
I
no,
think
when they were at the table, that's what she
yeah,
said.
but
Now on the
she
tweet,
corrected it at the table too. And
huh?
then she corrected the comment and said it was that overseer thing even when they were at the table. But when she said it, she's like, so you calling me a slave? And she like, yeah.
Yeah.
So like I feel like she was like, okay, if you ain't gonna listen to what I said, then yeah, let's go with that then.
But what else is an overseer?
Yeah, and then who is he overseeing then? If he's not overseeing her, and then in order for him to be an overseer, then she would have to be his slave, right? With some missing something. But I mean,
Yeah,
she
I would have
said,
to. Somebody have to explain to me what else an overseer is. What else? You don't call black men overseers.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, and then that's when, um,
A trustee appointed to oversee somebody's fund, supervise. Wait, that says oversee. Hold on, let me see. Overseer. A person who supervises others, especially workers. That's just what Google says. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like
which would
she
still be
probably,
that person on the slave plantation overseeing the slaves.
but it can also be. It says also an officer responsible for care of the poor. Um, I guess they also do something with list of voters or those who had not paid taxes, as far as in history, as well as The plantation, the
Yeah,
manager of
the
a
manager
plantation.
of a plantation of slaves. That's
Yeah, so it's
historical reference. And then they changed it in 1988 to be a person with supervisory responsibilities, a person who oversees others.
overseer is also a man, the man in charge of taking care of God's household in the Bible. Like, so it really depends because she could have meant it in that way, but
We have to see what
we
her
can
quote
also
was
circle back
actually.
around and say that's not how she meant it, and we can't really prove it because it's got numerous meanings.
I think the whole issue is we need to see that whole tweet, and then we would truly understand probably where she was coming from with that. I mean,
Hmm.
because all the other meanings that wouldn't have gone with her talking. I don't know. To me, it didn't make sense with her
Hmm.
saying that. But
Yeah.
I think I need to see that whole tweet, and then I can make a good decision. But I know what I heard happened there, and she did say, because like you said, she was like, well, yeah. Um, when she was like, so am I a slave? Are you calling me a slave? Like that portion. Um, if that was the case, that was her chance to clarify or try to clarify. She saw what she had said upset Ashley, but of course, in Candace fashion, she's not going to clean it up. Um, and then Candace talks about oh, that Ashley, that's when she says that Ashley has done things to hurt her and she will not forgive her. And then that's when they started bringing up the her writing the statement for Monique, and the fact that she's still friends with Monique because they actually showed a picture of her and Candace hanging out not too long ago at New York
Yeah.
Fashion Week or a couple of months ago. So it's kind of
Mhm.
like, hmm, okay, um, all right, and then they Andy asks Wendy what to name the work that she's had done. So she says she's had a BBL, and then she also gives a public service announcement like, make sure that you research your doctor, you make sure you go to an accredited doctor. I'm not trying to be mean, but it was like blah blah blah. But like we've heard that, but I know women are still dying; they're not listening still.
Yeah.
Um, he also asks Wendy, does she rehearse her reads? And she says no. Even though there were a few reads that she had that did seem rehearsed, but she did bring up a good point. Like she's gone up against what is that lady's name? Um, is it Caitlin Mackin something whatever Trump's press secretary? And I'm like, well, you know what? She was kind of quick on her feet with that lady. So I don't know. I think when she's trying, she has to rehearse, but when she's on the spot, she can say what she needs to say. But I don't know. All right, and so Andy asked if Wendy's candles are available for sale yet. So Wendy says by the time the reunion airs, they will be for sale, but right now they're not for sale yet. All right, so Andy asked Karen, why did she withhold the fact that she was going to launch candles next? And so Karen was like, well, I announced it a couple of years ago. And then production shows the clip of Karen announcing that she's also going to have candles in her line. And, she was talking to Giselle, well, Giselle was around as she was singing it. So I was like,
Hmm.
oh, yay, okay. Production actually didn't do anything shady with that one. Okay, so they go on another break. And when they come back, they're kind of talking. I don't know if they realize their mics are on, but Robin's talking about how she tried to poop during their break, but she couldn't. So then they had this whole like bowel movement discussion, which I was like, why didn't y'all cut that out? Why did y'all think we wanted to hear that? It's too much. Okay. And so Andy asked the ladies who heard the rumor about Eddie. So everyone except, oh, I'm sorry, no one but Karen and Robin raised their hands. And then Robin, she said, well, only a few hundred people saw it. And Wendy says, but millions of people saw it on the show. So I did a little research, like I was some kind of production member. And so I went over to where the site that they were talking about that had posted all of this. I'm not
Hmm.
going to say it because I don't want to give them any recognition. They're terrible over there. Um, But when I went to the video about Wendy's husband, it had over 100,000 views on it. So it wasn't, oh, just a few people saw it. Over 100,000 views were on that. All right. And so we know 100,000 people watch that blog. So Wendy brings up misogyny. And she says that Giselle's statement that she had her body done, to please her man is a very misogynistic statement to make. And then she says, which I didn't realize Giselle had a tummy tuck. Did that keep Jamal? All right. So what are y'all thoughts on those
uh,
Well, okay. I guess the colorism thing, I didn't
Oh,
see.
yeah. I forgot to. Okay. I was gonna say something about the colorism comment. So when they went to Ashley, I mean, when Ashley said, "Oh, we need to address this right now," I was a little bit disappointed that it just fell to the wayside and they didn't address it because they immediately started arguing about something else. I can't remember what they started arguing about, but I was like, it would have been nice for y'all to kind of clear the air. That would give Wendy and Candace a chance to explain why they feel like there's colorism amongst the group. And then it would give the other ladies a chance to say, well, no, that's not what I meant by this, or no, la, 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 but it didn't happen. I was kind of disappointed that I didn't get to see that. I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to cut you off, Johnny.
Oh, no worries. I was gonna say, I as much as I've watched it, I've not really noticed any colorism. Uh, Saying someone's hair is dry doesn't mean it's a dark skin thing. I mean, my hair is
Right.
dry. I'm not dark skinned, so that's not a good example of if Candace feels there's colorism, that would be a colorist statement. And then, oh Lord, everything else about all that was covered. Wendy's a political commentator, so she does have to be prepared with what she says, and I don't necessarily think everything she says is just off the cuff. Off the cuff, you can't. You have to kind of be careful with what you say in that kind of sparring back and forth. So I don't necessarily know that that's straight off the brain the way she
I
was
just,
trying to make it
I
seem like.
no, I completely understand because when she goes in front of somebody like Kaylee, I don't know if you guys watched any of like her press conferences. Like that girl, and do I think Kaylee has rehearsed hers? Some stuff she rehearses, but if you are not sharp, Kaylee will eat you up. I rarely agree with anything she says, but I can't say she will eat you alive. I've watched her do it. And I'm like, I gotta turn off the
wait, which
TV
one
because
is that? The Trump's press secretary?
Yeah, Trump's press
the blonde.
secretary.
Man, all you gotta do is ask. She no, not really, because if
Well,
it
with the
wasn't in her
binder, she does
binder,
get caught up with the binder. Yeah, she does get caught up
like if
some.
her responses are all in that binder, if it's not in her binder, she'll be like, she's not gonna talk about it. So she's
It's
not
but
that
to me
good.
that's still rehearsed. Like
Mhm.
she has to know what's going to be asked. And I think because of like whatever environment was during that particular time, whether it was about COVID or whatever, I think at that point every single thing you're going to say has something to do with COVID. So at what point will you not be able to snap like that? But
Well,
off
she
of,
didn't really snap. She just went to the
no,
binder.
you know what I'm saying? Like come
Well,
up
you
with
know
your
what?
comeback.
Actually, if you think about it, she's like a white woman, Candace. She just to say something, and she'll be rude and nasty to people. Where it's like, yeah, that's the thing
Well,
with
I
her.
mean, her boss was nasty
Mhm.
to
Yeah, he was
people.
nasty. Yeah, exactly. So
So,
I,
I mean, he
with him
surrounded
respecting
himself
her,
with
because
what he wanted.
Yeah.
because he's not gonna
That
tell
is
her she's
what it is.
wrong, like Mia won't tell her social media manager that she's wrong. you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess it's all about who you surround yourself with. But that's like Jen Psaki's really good too, because
Yeah.
uh, I like how she throws it back on the person, or how she tries to. Are you trying to ask me this? And if you are, then blah 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 blah. You know, you just can kind of deal with those better. But I don't necessarily work in that environment. but I do know some of that stuff you do have to be careful for. You can't be
Yeah,
an
just flying out
CNN
saying,
rep sitting there calling somebody names and degrading them. You have to
right.
stick with facts and you have to stick with what you're talking about. So I'm not I'm not so quick to believe that she's got her reads like that. I think she does practice them, or they do
Yeah, now
rehearse.
That TikTok one was definitely rehearsed, but she didn't do a good job of rehearsing it because her timing was off. It was like it didn't go over very well.
Mhm.
Yeah. But see, like I
Or
don't see all that
or that
stuff.
was a bad,
Edit.
just a bad one.
Yeah.
That was off the
Oh,
cuff.
and I'm sorry. How many I've shopped for candles. I like Bath and Body Work candles and Yankee candles, and I've seen some candles in the stores in the jars. I can't say I've ever seen a 5 or 7 wick candle. So how big are those?
You know what? I don't know how
Actually,
big
like
those are going to
4,
be.
I think is the most I've seen.
My next thing I was going to segue
4,
into.
yeah, 3 and 4.
Yeah,
I ain't never seen no 5 or 7.
Yeah, because the 4 is usually those big candles, like with the 4s, the ones
They're
that can just
pretty
stand on their
round.
own and just big.
yeah, and
Yeah,
it's heavy.
they're
Yeah,
pretty big.
Yeah.
So what does
yeah.
a
I
five or
had a
seven wick
4 wick
candle
one
look
one
like?
time. Yeah. And surprisingly, that one lasted me a long time. Would you think it would burn faster because of all of the heat from it? But it actually didn't. I
Mm-mm.
was shocked.
But they're usually pretty big, so
Yeah, it was a big heavy candle though
because
as
a
well.
1 wick or 3 wick ain't gonna handle the size of like what I've seen a 4 wick.
Hmm.
Like you need all that to just melt some of it. Um, and in that case, I mean, it might be worth the money if it's gonna last a long time.
Yeah. And then so actually so much happened in those last 10 minutes that happened the whole episode to cover. Her whole thought process of, I get what she was saying as far as you would have never spread life into the rumor had it never been on the show. But if only 100,000 people watch that information from the time it started till now, that's not the millions of people that she says are
But she's saying millions watch the show. Then I feel like if a video on YouTube has 100,000 views, that's a lot of people watching it. That's a
yeah, and
lot. Of,
that would spread just as much as you watching the TV show. So that means if you look at 100,000 people who've already watched the video before the show aired, and then you times that by people talking, that probably have already hit 1 million people before the show aired. And then the show could have sparked more questions about it. And then again, we haven't addressed the alleged him deleting all his Instagram, people off his Instagram and all that stuff that we've heard. I can't say that it was from that same blog. I think it was somewhere different. But I don't I hope they'll get on that next week to see his side or his thoughts on what happened or what was said. Because even when she talked about it to him, he never said much. He just said, I think he did say something as far as like I wouldn't jeopardize my life or
yeah, it was
something.
like he
He
went
said
through so
something
much to
along
be with her.
those
Why would he
lines.
jeopardize it? Yeah.
Yeah, because of what he's given up, because we know he sacrificed his family to be married to her. So
Hmm.
his whole thought process is why would I do anything to jeopardize this when I've given up so much? And
But I would also say that as a cheater.
huh?
I would also use that line if I was a cheater too.
I would too. I mean, the whole thing in the nutshell is he was not exposed to nearly as many women before he got on the show than he was exposed to after. And I think that's where a lot of potential comes in because your
Hmm.
man is only exposed to the people in your city, right? Then if you have this man on TV and other women find him attractive, or you just have freaking what are they?
Gold diggers.
Yeah, you have your freaking
Thought,
gold diggers, your thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
your that's their whole goal is
And
to
now they done
ruin what
seen
you
your
have.
life, how you live, how you treat the
Yeah.
family.
And you know who said it best? Lamar Odom. If you look at his story with before when he got married to Chloe, he was truly in love with Chloe. But he even said all the fame that he got from that show introduced him to a whole nother level of women that he never had access to before. And it's all because they want something or they want to be the one to do blah blah blah, you know?
Mhm.
And that's pretty much what's happened here. Not saying he's done anything, you know, but he has been exposed. He has been There are women out there, just like we saw with Karen's husband, the rando calling him on Instagram. You you have pretty much put him out there, not to cheat, but to be tempted. And luckily right now he's blocking those temptations that we know of outside of what we know with those Instagram pictures or whatever. But
Yeah.
I think
that's
you said what?
That's what I was gonna say. That's why I always say you got to be careful with bringing your marriage and your children onto these shows because
Out there.
sometimes
Mhm.
you may want to share this experience with them. At what cost are you sharing this experience with them?
Because there's
Mhm.
all, and that's the part that sucks. There's always a woman who will do everything in her power to ruin what you have just because they can, not because they want to, not because of whatever, but it's because they can and because of the fame that they feel like they'll get because they did it. And I just think that's sad, you know? I don't want that for her. I just wish that she would handle things a little bit better. I really honestly think she should. I know Giselle probably shouldn't have said anything. She did not breathe fire. She didn't breathe life in it. She didn't sit there and say, "Oh, did you hear about Wendy's husband cheating on her?" You know, she said, "Did y'all see that blog? I didn't believe it. Do you believe it? No, 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 no." And like we've already said, it was the change in her. And if
Mhm.
you look at what she was like last year and how she's like this year, those are two different women. You can't tell me that
I
that's the
mean,
same
there is
woman.
a difference in the two of them, but I totally understood where she came from when she said what Giselle said was misogynistic, and it is. It's like you're saying that I've changed my body because of a man or for a man. Like, no, like what? You know, so I completely understood when she said that towards her because that's exactly what you said she did. That was very misogynistic. But I don't know that Giselle realized when she said it was the way that could be taken, but it wasn't cool.
Oh, it's my turn. Okay, so I'm about to go backwards again, y'all. Sorry. So I gotta go back to shoot. It's too much. My brain don't work this far back. Um, um, where did we start off? Oh, the colorism thing, right? Is that where we had started that part?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I don't think what happened necessarily was colorism, but I do think Ashley is wrong for saying. Well, first of all, Ashley's hair is dry, so I really don't know who she's saying got dry hair because she doesn't have like that beautiful mixed grade of hair. She got long hair, and her hair, especially on the reunion, is really pretty. And when she wear it curly, it's cute. But her hair is still not that. It ain't silky like some people get that other grade that's like them juicy curls that they just got to put water in it and slick it back and it's wavy and curly. Yeah. So as a woman also with 4C hair, it's to me, even if it comes from another black person, it could be a darker person that's got great hair. Like, don't talk about my hair. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's not something that you got a choice on. What you're given, you embrace what you got. But now, if I just don't want to put no grease in my hair or I don't want to try to do nothing to my hair, okay, but I don't think that's how Ashley meant it. And I think because Ashley doesn't have the same grade of hair, she don't really get it. I got that Ashley is black also, mixed, whatever. She's also black, but it's still not that same as black 4C hair. So when you don't have it, you really can't. I don't know. Like I just sometimes people are. It's already hard enough for women to embrace it because people look so far down on it, especially when your hair got shrinkage and like it's called unkempt. Like by the military standards, they had to take it out. They used to say black hair was unkempt, and I'm like, what is that? Um, just because our hair won't stay flat like white people, and so I personally don't care for her saying that either. And I'm not dark skinned, but I don't care for that either. So I wouldn't say it's a colorist thing so much as it's just rude to say, like, because that's like one of the one things that to me is the quickest thing that people are act so disgusted about when it comes to black people is our hair. So that part I guess bothers me as well. But um I wouldn't say it's colorist, but I guess they have done things that maybe sometimes the group seems like sometimes they split up with some of the light skin and the different. I don't know. The two darker skin ones are teamed up, or what I'm saying. They do seem like that sometimes, but at the same time, they're all blended and mixed together, hanging out, doing whatever.
Yeah.
Um, I know they were saying that house thing, that house situation was kind of colorist, um, because it was a dark skinned person that put them in that house, and it was a light skinned person in the house. That's what made me feel like it wasn't necessarily colorist, but I could see where people were making how people felt like that because I guess something that Giselle had said. Um, and then, um, but I mean, I guess that would be a touchy subject because I think only when it comes to the colorism, really, the dark skinned people are the ones that feel it the most usually. So,
Yeah, they usually feel it the most, and I feel like I can't say that I've seen a whole lot of colorist things. I have seen some things where I could be like, if I was in that situation, I would feel like this is colorist going on.
mhm.
So I do believe that um, Wendy and Candace should have the opportunity to be able to say what makes them feel this way because this isn't the first time they've said something about it. I do
Mhm.
believe they deserve that conversation and not to be blown up like, well, that's not true. That's not true. They feel that way for a reason. Hear them out, and then that'll also give you your chance to let her know, well, no, that's not what I was saying to you, or this is not what I was doing in that moment. But it's almost like the racism thing. If I feel like something happened to me that's racist, why can't I have a conversation about that
Mhm.
and address it?
Yeah,
That's kind of the way that I feel about
yeah. I mean, but it kind of goes both ways because if you think about the Robin and what's called the Green Eyed Bandits, like they're being singled out because of what I'm saying. I
it.
got it, but you
I
got other
can,
people who team up and talk about other people. It's
yeah.
just because they're
Now
best
this is
friends and they both got
now
pretty eyes.
Yeah, now the whole green eyed bandit thing, that's something that them two do, and that's something that they throw out there all the time, and which it kind of
Oh,
annoys me
they call
because
themselves a Green Eyed Bandit.
yeah, they call themselves a green eyed bandit. And then you
Oh, I
saw when
thought that was just a
Giselle
name
met
given to them.
and then you saw when Giselle met Candace's stepdaughter, she was like, "Oh, you have pretty eyes like me. I have green eyes." And it just kind of annoys me a little bit because I'm like, okay, you got your green eyes because of a recessive gene. Are we all supposed to praise you and say that you're beautiful because of a recessive gene that's running through your body? Now, I'm not trying to say, oh, she's. My thing is, why? Why is your beauty standard that? So when they do certain things like that, that does kind of come off as colorist. Because why are you basking and expect me to think you're beautiful because you have green eyes?
You saying as if brown eyed people aren't? Um,
Yeah, like you're trying to say because I have brown eyes that I'm not as pretty as you, or my eyes can't be pretty because they're brown. So that's just my thought process on that whole eye thing, and that's been going on for years. But maybe that is part of why Candace and Wendy feels that there is colorism going on between them. But I feel like they just won't have that conversation. It just keeps getting thrown out there, and then it's being ignored. Like, oh, it'll go away if we just ignore it. But I think they do need to have that conversation.
well, I think if they bring it up at a time that's not an argument, it probably could be had. But if you feel that way, like if I'm in a group of people I'm comfortable with, and I feel like there's racism going on, I would definitely say something. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I'm not comfortable right now, because I've been in situations like that at work where I've had to point out that that was racist. Everybody don't feel the same way that it was racist, but I do, and I'm like, and it's how I felt at that moment. So if um, and then you can't tell that to a whole group of people of a different race and say, "Well, I felt like it's racist," and the whole group is saying, "No, it wasn't." Well, you're not gonna understand because it wasn't you. Um, so they have to do it at a time that's not. Because, like, to me, when Candace even made the comment or threw it out or whatever, it still wasn't the timing, because it was in the middle of a kind of like an argument. And then it's like, so it's easy to ignore it or discredit it or just not think about it because there's so much going on. And exactly what happened, it got flown past because something else was said that grew more, that gathered more attention than that comment.
Yeah.
So I feel like if they brought it up at a time where they all chilling, sitting down, just talking, like, hey, this colorist thing is getting out of control, or hey, we feel like this because of this, then maybe people would actually pay attention to it, but not during an argument, because too many other things are being said that, to me, I'm like, whoa, whoa. They're like, oh snap, colorism. Oh, he just called her this and that. Oh, he just said you got AIDS. Oh snap, that's way more interesting. You know what I mean? So I think if they want to have that conversation, they have to just have it, not wait till somebody's mad and say, "Oh, this is colorist," and then move on. Because the way she said it was like, just. Uh. But what I didn't agree with on that, with the colorist thing, she said, um, Michael calling Chris white trash is between two white men. She was like, "But you calling colorist, or are you saying?" Um, what did she say? As if that's not the same. But I'm like, but aren't you two black women saying something that ain't right? I'm like, what man? What, just because he's white, he can call him white trash? I'm like, that's not right either. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
I think yeah,
I
but I
think,
think what
yeah,
she
you
was
took that wrong, I think. Oh, I'm
hmm,
sorry.
yeah, I think what she was trying to say with that is those were two white men having an argument.
hmm.
We're arguing, but you're sitting here and saying it's okay for me to be referenced as a slave. See, their argument was about classism, because Michael
But it's
does
still
feel
not
he's better
okay.
than.
Like,
No, it's
yeah,
not.
but
It's
so if
not
you got a
okay.
rich person calling you poor,
Yeah, no, that's not
that's not
okay.
okay just as much as a
But
person
Candace
saying that
can't
your
call
husband's
out
white and he black
colorism
and he a
and sit
slave
there and call
driver.
the next black woman a slave. Like, you can't have it both ways.
Yeah.
You can't sit here and be a victim of colorism and then in the next breath say I'm a slave. Like, that doesn't work. That's not how that works. That's what she was getting at. Like, you can't sit here and say I'm a victim because you're being colorist, but then turn around in your next breath and say I'm a slave.
But I also don't think she should have used that example with Chris. I'm sorry, that still wasn't right either. Like, just because he's white, don't
But
mean he
it's
can
kind of
call him.
almost, it's I feel like
She said
the
that's two
argument
white
you're
men,
making
and he's calling
is
them
like
white
if two
trash.
black
That's still
people
not
are,
okay either.
but, but check this out. I think it's more along the line when she's saying this is two white men, they're going back and forth together saying certain things that, okay, so if me and you are talking and I call you
Get him.
the N word, but let a white woman come up and say the N word, are you not going to care because I just called you the N word? Or are you going to be madder because she called it to you? You get it. Sometimes there's that,
But it's still two black women
and
who
she's
are
saying those
married
are
to
two
white
white.
men. Y'all in the exact same boat. And if
Yeah,
anything,
but
you a
I
house
can't
slave and
sit
she a
here.
field slave. So really, her calling you a slave, you could turn around and say, "Well, your overseer just had to pick you out the field because she darker." Like, to me, it's the same thing. Like, if that's like if two black people talking and you call me ghetto and I don't feel like I'm ghetto, I'm be like, "Well, why would you call?" Especially if you rich, you call me ghetto. We two black women. You say, "Oh, you ghetto," and you mean it in a negative way, like, not that, oh, you did some ghetto, but you are ghetto and you're rich, so you're better than me, and because I'm black and you're black, I'm supposed to accept that. Like, I don't think Chris should have to accept being called white trash from a rich white man who, because he's white, he has to be like, okay, well, he's just saying it because I'm lower class. Like, no.
No, but I don't think I can sit there and call you ghetto, right?
Hmm.
And then turn around and be offended because you said I was bougie. You see what I'm saying? Like you can't have it both ways. So if you feel like colorism and all this stuff affects you, why is it okay for you to reference the next person in a racially discriminatory way? And I think that's what she was trying to say. Like you can't sit here and play victim to be colorist when you sit here and you say things about me that are not cool. And I've never referenced your color, but you can reference mine. And I think what Candace said was something about your husband talks about my husband, and she said that's two white men hashing it out. But
Yeah.
I I
See, but
I
I can't go along with that comment.
what
So
that
I
two
can go
white
along
men
with the thing of saying you can't say this and say that. But to say but your husband said this and it's like that's two white men hashing it out, no. Because if one white man disrespect another white man, it's still disrespect. So disrespect is just a level of your husband ain't respectful to my husband, period.
right,
Period.
and neither one of them are respectful to each other. I just think what Ashley was getting at is
You should
stop
have
playing
never said that
victim.
about the husband part. To me,
Yeah,
that was
she could have kept
irrelevant.
it
It was
out,
irrelevant. Like you can't
but
use that. To me, what you said made more sense if she said, "Okay, you claiming colorism, but yet you called me a slave. So what is that?" But for me, if I was Ashley, I wouldn't even get mad. I'd have been like, "Your white husband is pulling you out the cotton fields. At least mine getting me off the porch, so I'm better off than you." You know what I'm saying? And it's the truth. Like
yeah, but that's
literally between black people, that is how it go. Like lighter the skin, you was on the porch, or you was in the house. Darker the skin, you was out there in the fields. Who was treated worse? They both were treated bad, but the ones in
they
the field were
both
treated
were
worse.
treated bad.
So
That's what I
yeah,
don't
That's,
understand. I
yeah.
don't get it at all because just because I was in the house doesn't mean my life was easy. It wasn't
oh no,
But it
because a
was
lot of
easier than
times the
yours.
ones in the house were the bed wenches.
Yeah,
So
but I guess like you getting that hard labor. So yeah, you got the
You don't
case
think
of
that's hard labor sitting there being raped constantly?
yeah, yeah. The ones
yeah,
outside get raped too though. You gotta
Yeah,
remember
they
that. The
do,
ones
but
outside
not
get raped too.
constantly.
but they weren't
They not
master's mistress.
they're not master's
So they got
mistress. They're not
pregnant and
sitting there
baby
being
snatched
passed
out.
around by his
The ones
friends.
outside did too. They did get raped and get pregnant, but um no, I get it. And I just that's why I said both. I mean, I'm light enough that I believe I would have been in the house too, unless they let me out in the sun for too long. So I'm not saying I would have wanted to be either one of them. I'm thank God I was born in this time and not when it was still slavery, because obviously
I
I would
just
have had a different mind, but I wouldn't have survived that. I probably
I
committed
just
suicide.
think
'Cause there ain't no way I could have lived during that time,
but that's
or
where I
somebody
think
would have got
why
killed.
we can never seem to get past all of this. You know,
But black people are,
we're so far removed from
but
that,
I
and we
mean,
will not educate ourselves to do better than
mm,
that. And we still separate ourselves
but
by
skin color.
skin color, by class. Just because I sit on this side of the desk, you feel I'm better than you. I've never said I was better than you.
But
You
you know
I
what
feel
see.
that
I'm
I
better
is?
think
than me.
class can go with any race, but
But
I
you know,
think our
that's
problem
what I
is
was
that
about to say
skin
because
color thing.
Michael and Chris's beef is because Michael feels like he's better than Chris. Even though both of them are married to women who have like blood running through them, so they do have a commonality if they just realize that instead of,
Red
but they're
blood, black
beefing.
skin.
Hmm?
You said
But
black
you
blood,
said
red blood, black skin.
red blood, yeah, red blood running through us, yeah, yeah.
But
But
yeah,
I just don't see that.
yeah. But
Yeah,
I
but
think
like
us
he said,
as black people,
they won't
we
get past their difference
yeah.
to see their commonalities.
Hmm.
And that's okay. As long as they can just handle themselves appropriately,
Mhm.
you
Yeah,
know? And
But I
we've already
think
talked about
still,
Candace. Candace ain't gonna change, so I guess I'm sorry if I had gotten my head bashed into a table. I think I would totally think differently on how I say things to people. But
mm,
that's
well,
just
that
not
person
me.
gone, so she probably feels safer now.
but who was it? It was somebody that made the statement. It was like, Candace, are you walking down the street talking to people like this? It's like, no, she's not doing it. We all know she's not doing it because she would have been got beat up a long time ago, several times over. Um, so I think she knows that she can do it in that group, and she knows that she's entertaining people on TV, even though it's not entertaining to me, it's disgusting to watch her do it. But, she feels that way, and that's why she continues to do it.
She
Um,
she grew up privileged too, so like I feel like she got some of them privileged personality traits that
oh,
she was a
yeah,
rich kid.
absolutely. Yeah, and she gives off that vibe that she didn't. I ain't gonna. I'm gonna leave that part alone. I'm
Well, I'm
gonna leave
saying
that.
so we know she grew up privileged,
Yeah,
and so when you coming at people crazy, sometimes I think privileged people can't even
think that
forget
they can
because
do
that's
that.
like in my opinion when it comes to Michael going over to Chris and grabbing him to my you need to get your wife. You coming at somebody who ain't grew up like you or who ain't like you, and you better stop talking about my wife and you better check your own self because you about to get, you know what I'm saying? You put your hands on me again and say something else about my wife, it's gonna go down. You're not gonna just come and tell me something like that and grab me in a ridiculous way. Like, please. I almost got into it in the club before when somebody walking through the club, obviously somebody who don't realize that you don't put your hands on everybody, grabbing everybody's head and singing a song. And he grabbed my head. I'm like, no. And said a few choice words and tell him to go on about his business. And if he had anything else to say, then let's do it. He apologized and went about his business. I'm like, don't touch nobody else. I speak for all of us women in here. Don't touch nobody else. So some people don't get it. Some people just don't realize how the real world works. Like you can get away with this in your circle because everybody's like, "Oh, you're powerful because you're this, you're that." You run across a
Right.
person that don't know you or don't care about none of that, and you get your head slammed into a table, and that's what happened to Candace. Simple as that. But um, what else happened?
The misogyny.
Oh, so okay, I see both sides of that. I do see how the comment was massaged because it's saying like you did this for a man, and even on that, I can speak on the fact that when I used to go out, I wear my little dresses and all that stuff, and they're like, "Oh, you trying to get you a man?" I'm like, "Nah, it's just what I like. It it makes me feel good to feel like I look sexy, and that's what I like." If a man never said anything to me, I still felt good about myself. Um,
Yeah,
Now, it got me some free drinks sometimes, dressed in like skanky, but it also got me called names too. So I mean, it goes both ways, you know.
Yeah, makes you get felt
So
treated differently.
so in that, when you look at Wendy in that sense, she got to understand she might have did it for herself, but like if I feel like if you're my friend or if I'm your friend and I never come to you and say I never said I want to do something to my body. Now it's not your business for me to say I want to get my boobs done. I want to get a Brazilian, a BBW or whatever. Um, I don't have to tell you, but as your friend, if I never said anything, all of a sudden you see these blogs, and then all of a sudden I ran and did that. Then what else would be the two and two? You know what I mean? Like I
but
feel like
that's the
it could
problem
be.
with it. That should not be your thought process. If I improve myself, your thought process should not be, "Oh, she's improving herself for a man." That's what she's saying is the
Yeah,
problem.
and I get it, but you can't stop people from thinking like that. Like those
But
thoughts are just
how do
gonna
we get that?
come.
Because that should not be the thought process.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, but it's going to be. It's going to be.
So I guess it's a bigger conversation that we need to have, where it's like you shouldn't be thinking negative stuff like this about a woman, that everything she's doing is for a man or for a man's attention.
Well, that
Uh,
comes back to a
because
woman
I
wore this
don't think that
outfit
way.
and got
If
raped. Some people look at it like, well, she shouldn't have wore that, and some people
I
feel
have
she
never
can wear
thought that.
whatever she
I
wants.
say a woman should be able to wear whatever she wants to wear
Yeah,
out that
I
house,
believe that
and a man
too.
should be able to control himself.
Yes, but you're gonna get both sides no matter what. You're going to have a group of people that's gonna say she should never wear that. Had she wore something less revealing, people wouldn't have thought she was wild and out there. People wouldn't have thought she was easy and wanted to sleep with everybody because her outfit comes off as a streetwalker. Whereas somebody else will say she can dress with two pasties and a thong on and you still should keep your hands to yourself. I do believe that.
I do. I think even if a woman is a streetwalker, that doesn't excuse a
Yeah,
man
it don't mean you can go
able
rape
to
her.
rape her or do
She's
anything
selling it.
else.
You pay for it or leave her alone.
Right.
But some people don't see it that way. Some people also see as she's a prostitute. She sell it anyways. If somebody wanted to take it, like she's nothing but garbage, or like a drug addict that's out on the streets, homeless, might be doing some things, some strange things for change, and then here come the next one saying, "Well, I'm just gonna take it," and people be like, "Well, just another one off the street." No, still was a person. You know what I mean? So you're gonna get both sides. Now,
And that's
her
the whole other issue
personality.
why we can't get rid of sexual harassment in the workplace,
Mhm.
because there are men who haven't developed as men that don't realize that every woman in the office, her vagina isn't available to you, is it
Well,
for you?
and when you
And so
got
that's why we have this Me Too movement. And I hate when men are like, they make their statements about it, but it's like, change y'all's attitude, change your way of thinking. Because I come to work wearing a cute outfit does not mean that I want to rub and grind up against you.
But when you
Like,
have a
give me some.
president who says grab them by the stuff, and then you got half the country saying it's wrong, half the
But
country
this
saying
is
it's just
my thing.
boys'
Like,
room
all the
talk.
people that I feel like don't feel like that was wrong. It's like, how were you raised? How do you not know that women's bodies is not up for you to grab on?
It's the
How
I
do
mean,
you not
but
know that?
that's never that's not going to change in our lifetime.
No,
I
I don't
mean,
think it's
that
ever
we're
gonna
not going to see that difference because the same thought process you have, another woman has the opposite thought process too.
change.
It's not only with just men, it's with women too.
Yeah. Hmm.
If women come to work dressed with their cleavage all out and their butt showing and showing butt cleavage, as a woman, I'm gonna be like, damn, don't you think you should cover up what you're trying to do? You trying to get forward in life? That's the way we think. Who are you trying to impress showing your butt cleavage? Is that okay for you to wear that to work? No, that's my opinion. But the new generation that's coming up feels like they should be able to wear a thong to work and you shouldn't say anything to them. I might be in my 80s when I see that happen and it be okay, but right now it's just not there.
Yeah, I mean that's like racism. It's not gonna go away until the people who don't feel that way are gone. And like, I mean, granted, the newer generation is definitely pushing this whole country in a different route. So maybe eventually it is gonna be different. But yeah, I'm with Johnny. I don't think it's gonna be in our lifetime. You're gonna have sexism. You're gonna have racism. You're gonna have um, um, like every kind of ism that's negative is gonna be that way because where there's one person that feels this way, there's always gonna be one that argues and say no, it's this way. Whether it's male, female, black, white, yeah, it don't matter because you got even with racism, you got people like Candace Owens who
Yeah.
is not for black people, but when you're racist against her, she pulled a race card.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
But
she pulls
any
it
other
on.
time, racism don't exist. So it's like you know, or you might even have black people who are racist towards white people and they don't consider it racism. Racism, it is a form of racism. It just maybe it ain't slavery mentality type racism, but it's still racism when you're racist against another race. Just like I mean, what sucks to Asian people, not everybody takes that junk serious because they're not black or white, and that's what a race war is really with the black and white. But what was happening to them, it still was acts of racism, you know,
Oh,
like saying
absolutely.
domestic terrorism and then foreign, and then terrorism period. Like I mean, it's all some of this stuff. Like people can say one thing. So going back to it, I mean, yeah, that ain't gonna change. And then I'm trying to think, what else? What did it end with? Like that little scene that you were talking about. What did we end with?
That Giselle got a tummy tuck and it didn't help her keep Jamal.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So Demel says, that's right, keep your eyes off my kids and I will keep my hands off you.
That's from when she was talking about Wendy giving the side eye.
To Grace.
Alrighty. And then Angela says, I fully agree. There are both men and women that will say and do anything to destroy your happiness. It's very true.
Yeah.
It works. There are haters that are men, just like there are
Hmm.
haters that are women.
Yeah,
And
it's sad, and I think the ones who would do it just to destroy or just for some kind of come up or some sort of like that's the worst because it's like what do you get out of ruining somebody? Um,
because they
now,
have bigness, and sometimes they just want to be picked. Like they don't
Yeah, and
even
they
want
got
that
their
big.
15
They want to
minutes of
be.
fame.
Yeah, they just
but
want to be.
then you still end up being like the bad person. Like You know what I mean? Like you still like nobody's gonna look at Monica Lewinsky and be like, "Yeah, you're our hero." You know, nah, she
And I
still
feel
got
like
a
she got the right
notorious.
deal. Like, look at her life,
Hmm,
and both of
yeah,
them were
but I mean,
young.
but you put yourself in a position with a married man, so we're not gonna feel like you're a victim. You knew he was married. He was president of
Yeah,
the United
no, I'm not
States.
saying that she's a victim. What I'm saying is both of them did wrong.
They
But
both did wrong.
But
yeah,
this is where, okay, so this is where, and I know this is a whole nother conversation, and this is not what we talk about anyway, because we don't talk about these kinds of things. But in her situation, because I'm one of those people too that feel like you knew what you were getting yourself into.
Mhm.
They're now coming up with the defense that she was groomed, because he was a man of power and he groomed her into doing these things. And I'm just like, how? Okay, so as women, we're supposed to be strong. I can open up my own door. You ain't got to do this.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? But then when it comes to a man and me performing a sexual act for him, oh, you didn't know better because you were in your 20s. I don't understand how that works. Can somebody
yeah,
explain it to me?
I don't understand that as well. I now when they use it like a 24-year-old man grooms a 15-year-old girl. Yeah, do I believe it happens then in that occasion?
Mhm.
I do. But when she is a grown woman and she chooses to do this, that
Mhm.
is on her. That's not him grooming her for anything.
Mhm.
That's I was like, okay, so now when it comes to us making the choice to have sex with men when we're young or whatever, now I'm being groomed for it. So I'm not woman enough to make my own decision and decide this is what I want to do. I'm still in some way being controlled by a man.
That makes
Like
life
I
scary
don't
for men.
yeah, it just don't make sense to me. You can't have it both ways.
You say
It's
like
either
grooming of a
one
young
way.
child, of like a
No,
teenager versus a
yeah,
woman.
like teenagers, I get that. I don't 24, 15. Okay. They could have, I don't know, depends on where they grew up. But a 33-year-old and a freaking 16-year-old, yeah, that's issues. And I actually witnessed that in high school watching one of my friends. Matter of fact, she actually slept with the DJ that's here in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? And every time I hear him, I'm like, you sick perv. I wonder if you're still sleeping with 16-year-old girls. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Like, those are the type of things that are
Yeah.
disgusting. But me being at a job and maybe using my influence to move up the ladder, because we don't necessarily know. I never watched the what's the name, that movie that they had, the show they had.
Yeah,
I don't really
telling
care
people.
because I don't care about that part of history. I don't care that he got head in the Oval Office, whatever. It didn't impact me like the politics impact me now, you know?
Mhm.
So therefore I didn't find it interesting or intriguing, and I just didn't care to know the story of how you betrayed your friend. But to I don't know that that was her thought process. Was she a victim? Was she oh, did he promise her things? I don't know those things to know that's why she did what she did, but at the end of the day, you still had the choice and you still knew this man
Mhm.
was married.
Yeah. If he promised you leave his wife, you stupid.
You
He promised
stupid.
you I'm gonna marry you eventually. You
They
stupid.
Yeah.
never do.
Now,
Now I
if he
did.
was
Yeah.
physically abusing her, I mean, even in that, she could leave because there's no ties. Like that's not to my understand is when it's like abuse involved, and that's because typically that goes into mental and
It's
psychological
it's almost
or
like they're trying to.
cults.
Yeah, it's almost like they're trying to say he manipulated her. Now,
Yeah,
granted,
I
I
don't
did
think so.
watch a couple of episodes of it, um, because I was gonna review that show, but I did see he did make promises to her, but it's like what Johnny says, they will always make whatever
Yeah,
promise they need
yeah,
to make to you
to
to
keep
get
you
you to
around.
do what they want from you.
Yeah,
Right. And at that point, like me having a daughter, I try and let her know as much as I can up front. You know, I tell her about the good D. I tell her how crazy you can get over it and try and make sure you're trying to separate the two. That good sex is not love. You know what I'm saying? And those were hard lessons I had to learn on my own. And as much as I want to try and prevent her from learning those things or not going in it blindly, maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I
Yeah.
can explain to you, this is what good sex feels like, and it will make you go crazy. And if you start feeling like you're doing things that you wouldn't normally do, that's when you need to learn how to separate yourself and make sure that this is a person that you actually love and that they love you in return. You
Yeah,
know, and using your body, if that's what you choose to do. You do have women who use their body to get what they want, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. If that's what you choose to do, just be wise, be brave, be not brave, but be in the know. Don't ever do your best to try not to make things harder for yourself in your future. And like, that's just like, my son today told me he wants to be president. And I'm like, oh, so now, good thing I use not so much my real name, but got to be careful with what you say because it's going to be out there. Next thing you know, my son's having to defend something I said because they figured out it was
yeah.
me. So, it's
It's
just
even
stuff
like with
like
these,
that.
yeah, because
Yeah.
it's even like with these reality shows. I don't think they realize it when they sign up for it, but it's like you're saying and doing things that are going to be out there forever. Somebody will be able to dig it up somewhere. So that's the only thing. Now with Monica, do I feel like she was groomed? No, no, not at all. Do I think she really liked Bill and she really believed the things that he was saying to her?
Hmm.
Absolutely. Do I think he told her those things? Absolutely. But I don't think that she was groomed. I think she was a grown woman who made decisions. Just like I feel like he's a grown man who made decisions. My
Hmm.
only thing that I ended up feeling a little bit bad about for her is that there are millions of women out here who are right now sleeping with a married man. There's a woman right now laid down with a married man, but she'll be able to get up and live her life. And Monica, she lost any prospects
She
of
picked the
future. She
wrong married
barely
man.
worked. Yeah, nobody wants to marry her. Like her life is just completely
But she
over.
shouldn't have slept with him.
She
Yeah, I
shouldn't have
mean,
slept with
I
him.
don't know that it was so much that she slept with him. It's the fact that she kept the dress.
But
She'll
that's that
always.
immaturity in her. Yeah, that made her do that.
I
You know.
don't think it had anything to do with all of that. I think it's the idea of like, how psycho is this chick that she's gonna keep stuff? I come on.
yeah, because it's like, were you planning on using that if he didn't fulfill his
Yeah,
promises?
what were you gonna do with that dress? And how much other stuff did she keep?
Yeah, he'd be the ones that he have to put the condom in his pocket and leave.
Exactly. As
Yeah,
I
because
teach
there
my
are
son,
women out there that are going that trash can, and then
take
she
that
would have had a
condom.
baby.
Yep. And just as much as I teach my daughter, I teach my son the same thing. So it's like,
Oh, absolutely.
you have to be you. I want them to go in this world knowing as much as possible. I don't want them feeling naive and young and dumb. And I get it. You're going to make mistakes and that's okay. Just like I had that conversation with my older son the other day. Like, life is to make mistakes. Everything's not going to be perfect, but it's how you get through those mistakes that groom you as a person.
Yeah.
That's what we do. So she made a mistake, but I think her keeping the dress is what messed her
Was
up. Not
the
so much sleeping
thing.
with the
That was
man.
cray cray. I mean, it was smart in the end, I guess, so she wouldn't look like a liar because she had proof. But it was cray cray. It's
Yeah,
nasty and it's crazy.
yeah, it's being crazy.
Yeah.
Although, you know what though, the funny thing though, I'm sorry, if that were
I know
Trump,
you.
Trump would have said, "Oh, she came in there and she did it to me, and she's the one who put it on her dress,
Right.
and I had nothing to do
She
with it."
is a succubus that came into my room
No,
I was
both of
asleep.
y'all are
while I
wrong.
was sleeping.
Nope, nope. He would have said, "I never seen that dress. I don't know her."
I
They'd be
don't
like, "But
know.
this your DNA. Never seen that DNA.
Never
I
seen
don't
it.
know
That
that
might be my
DNA."
son's. He would have thrown his sons under the
Yeah,
bus.
they'd be like, "So you telling me this is your son's? Probably. Check his
Yeah.
DNA.
Hey,
It ain't mine. I don't even
He
have
would have
hey,
DNA."
never
I'm gonna go old school for a
admitted to
second.
it.
Do you know how many people come in and out this house? This could be anybody's.
Yep,
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think Melania had that dress on the other
Yep.
night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Like, that's probably Melania's dress. She stole that.
Uh-huh. He
But
would
Mhm.
have.
yeah.
He absolutely would have. Hey, so the last thing that I was going to discuss, during the reunion, they discussed Karen has her 3 wick candle. Wendy is coming out with her 4 and 5 wick candle.
No, 5'7".
5, 7 wicks. Okay. So of course Mia's going to come
That's
back.
gonna burn somebody's house down.
So, oh, Mia's candle.
No, 5'7"
Oh,
wick. That
okay.
thing's probably the
7 wick.
size of a bucket.
Yeah,
Okay.
like
So
how do
Mia.
you even do a 7 wick?
So Mia has come out with a new candle. She's trying to uh, keep up with the ladies, right?
Don't tell me
Right.
no 7 wick.
She has a 9 wick candle. Well, let me show you guys.
Stop it.
Wow. Mia is the
Mia's the
grimiest
queen of
nose.
petty. I did not know she's the queen of petty.
She's so
It is.
grimy. She is out for Wendy.
Okay, can y'all see the candle?
No,
Okay. Try this again here.
I don't think you shared your screen, did you?
Yeah, I got it up here. Okay, do y'all see it now?
Mm-mm.
It's not working for me. Maybe because my internet been acting crazy. Go here one more time. I'm sorry.
You sharing it?
Uh-huh.
I don't know how to use all this technology stuff, so I can't tell you.
Oh, okay. I see. Okay. Share it with you guys. Figured it out. Okay, y'all see it now?
Yep.
Okay, so this is her candle. Is it blown up still?
Let's see.
I see blackness in comments.
Yeah. It's just our screen. Like the live, like the streamer.
Okay.
It's almost like, you know what, the way you're sharing it looks like it's like
I think you're gonna click on
one
the
of those mirror
tab.
reflections where it's inside each other. The box is inside.
But I think we just on the StreamYard tab, that's why.
What is going on?
Make sure you pull the right tab.
I know. let me search here until I can get this right.
Oh my gosh. Do you know that candle's worth $1,500?
That's what I was. Yeah, that's what I'm showing you guys. Yes, she has this 9 wick candle that is $1,500.
Put me on blast. Change that view. They went widescreen.
Hold on, let me see this candle.
Okay, so I'm trying to
Okay,
pull it
that's
up.
what it looks like. It's a big old flat disc. Oh, that's 10 wick.
It's Buddha. Okay, do y'all see it now?
You gotta share it again.
Okay.
Oh, I see. I see it on the Pinterest. So it's small. It's not huge.
No, it's huge.
It is huge?
Yeah, I had a picture here where it's showing the size. It's like next to a chair. Of course, it's not working. Let me see. Yeah, I still can't see the picture.
No.
Oh, Lordy. This computer is not letting me be great today. Let me stop sharing. Oh, you know what? Yeah, but her candle is $1,500 for that candle. So, and you can also do, it's not Klarna, but what's the other one called?
Afterpay?
It's similar to Afterpay, but it's not quite Afterpay.
There's so many now.
Yeah, so you can actually do financing. You can do 4 payments of I think it was $300.
Oh, I like it, Mia, but I don't like it that much.
And it does come in different scents. Now that's something I was wondering about with what's her name? Um with Wendy's candle because I still haven't heard if it's scented or not.
Well, when Andy went into her room and he said it smells good, she said, "That's my candle."
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that part.
And he was like, "Oh, that smells good."
Okay, well sorry guys, I didn't get to show you the pictures of it. Um but yeah, so what do y'all think about a $1,500 candle though?
Girl, that thing better never die.
And now, and then my thing, imagine how hot that room is going to be with 9 flames just going, right? Mhm.
Crazy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I just wanted to share that with you too tonight. So you can take a look at it and see, and just get your guys' feedback um, on that candle. But that is all that I have. Do you have any other thoughts about tonight? Anything that I might have missed? Okay. All right. Well, I guess I'll go ahead and wrap it up from here. I want to thank everybody for watching. Make sure you hit the like and the subscribe button on your way out to help support us. Um, and as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. We'll be back on Saturday with a recap of Life After Lockup. Bye, everyone.